Oh, it feels so yummy here. It feels yummy. It's a spiritual term or a German term. It's good. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this wonderful Sunday. Oh, wasn't that powerful to see our new leadership council on stage? Oh, we are in such good hands. We are in such good hands. So I'm so grateful to see each and every one of you here, the people who come here all the time, the new people. Welcome, welcome. We want you to know we are a community that loves to connect with each other. We love to celebrate each other. We support each other. And every once in a while, we rub up against each other. Yes. I always surprise the people that I acknowledge that. And today we are speaking about this first agreement, be impeccable with your word. And I'm just predicting that I might be rubbing against some of you today. So fair warning, if you hear something that feels like a little rub, come talk to me afterwards. One of my favorite things is how joyful our community is. So, I wanted to start off by sharing just the container that we find ourselves in. Here we are in March, in our annual theme of celebrating spiritual awakening. And we have looked at love in the first month, and last month we looked at love. First month we looked at the basis of a new thought in our teaching. And this month we are looking at being authentic. Being authentic. And if you were here last week, you saw Reverend Karin Lewis say something like, that means you do you, and I'm free to do me. And I love that. That stayed with me the whole week. This idea that we are really invited to be who we are. Who we are. There's no pretense. This is who I am. This is who we are. And as a community, I think we do a really good job to go out into the world and say, this is who we are. This is who we are. We would love for you to come and join us to discover more of who you authentically are, and let's do it together. You know, I'm German. I was born and raised in Germany. I came to America in 1985. And within that first year, I found this writing that actually caused me to translate it into German because it was so powerful for me. And I predict that many of you have heard this, but here's an invitation to hear it anew. Give yourself the gift to hear it anew. It was written by Portia Nelson. Portia is an American songwriter. And she attended a workshop. She's a good friend. She was a good friend of Wayne Dyer. And she attended a workshop. And there she was given, all the participants were given 5 cards similar to this size. And they were asked to write their life story on 5 cards. And they wanted to keep it tight. And so here is what Portia wrote. Autobiography in 5 short chapters. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a big hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down a different street. Isn't that fabulous? I so love it, and it was on my mind this whole week as I have been working with the 4 agreements with this wonderful book by Don Miguel Ruiz. Who all knows of this book, the 4 agreements? Look around, yes. Who has all read this book? Yes. Who lives by the 4 agreements? Nice. And there are a couple. Yes, and there are a couple. And I can tell you, for the last 2 weeks in preparation for these talks, I've been working with the 4 agreement, and I found out some things. They sound so easy, right? Be impeccable with your word. Okay. Don't take anything personally. Don't make any assumptions. Okay. Always do your best. They sound like reasonable, statements, principles to live by. Ooh, what a week I had. And since this is the month of authenticity, I figured I'd share it with you. Yeah, because that's what we do here. I know I skipped a slide, so sorry about that. Can we go back to Ernest Holmes? I wanted to help us anchor into how Ernest Holmes says this, because the language in the 4 agreements is a little different, so we'll walk it out together. Here's what Dr. Ernest Holmes says, the founder of our teaching. You are going to do it by the same means that brought about the condition, by thinking, because everything is produced by thought. You're going to do it by thinking into universal mind, the truth about yourself. The highest truth is that we are power, spirit, substance. We are made in the image of God, and we are perfect. We are perfect. I think it is important to anchor into this truth as we are willing to look at the habits, at the ways we show up in the world that might be labeled less than perfect, that at the center of our being, at the very depths of what we know of ourselves, we know I am whole, I am perfect, and I'm complete. In the book, Don Miguel Ruiz talks about agreements. These are the agreements that we made a long time ago, and many of them we are not aware of. And we can tell we are not aware of when we find ourselves in an argument and something comes out of our mouth and we're like, whoa, is my mother in the room? Whoa. I hope that's not just me. But we say something that we know is less than loving, kind, really how we want to live our life, and yet we are saying it. And these sayings, what comes out in those moments, are really an invitation and a great path sign to what is it that is up for me? What is it that I need, want, might work on? And so when we look at it that way, it takes the sting out. It's like, oh, interesting. I have to take a look at that. And so what we in science of mind traditionally call beliefs, we say that we live out those core beliefs that we have. In this book, those are called agreements. We made agreements. And Don Miguel Ruiz says, if we can see it is our agreements which rule our life, and we don't like the dream of our life, we need to change the agreements. And that is really what this book is. It's an invitation to take a look at what agreements might I have made that outpicture in the world and that I would like to have different. And so that is where we're going, beloveds. Are you ready? Be impeccable with your word. I did a little informal, informal poll. An informal poll of my friends asking, what comes up when you hear, be impeccable with your word? The first thing that people reference is integrity. You know, being on the inside, feeling how I feel on the inside and being willing to communicate that to the outside. Being the same Karin when I am on the platform, when I'm with friends, when I'm at a party, when I'm with my family, because there's only me, there's only one. That is what integrity is for me. The other thing that people often say is, say what you mean and do what you say and all those things. Being accountable. If I say I'm going to be there, by gosh, I'm going to be there. If I say I'm going to do that, I will give everything I have to do it or let you know that I need to make a different agreement. Right? Yeah? Feel good about it. I feel good about the next one. Don't gossip. That is something we have been working as a community and individually so much about this part because we understand gossiping, talking about another when they're not there, making up a story, filling in the blanks because we don't know, is poisonous to any relationship, to any organization. So I feel really strong and good about that one. And then there's this one. Don't tell any lies. Right? You would say, well, yeah, don't tell any lies. So what I have discovered these last couple of weeks that I've been working with this agreement is I have a tendency to once in a while tell some lies. Now this is the moment where everybody breathes. Remember, we are whole, perfect, and complete. What are these lies? Every time when I am presented with something that I don't want to face, I say things like, I don't know. I don't know. But do you know that there's a place within each and every one of us that does know? When something happens, when there's a conflict or there is something that I want to have a different experience about, and somebody asks, what are you going to do about that? What would you like to do about that? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Have you ever felt yourself saying that? Yeah. This is my invitation. There's going to be several of them today. Every time you hear yourself wanting to say, I don't know. Is this the job that you want to stay in? I don't know. Is this a relationship you want to work on and heal? I don't know. Every time you hear yourself, feel yourself wanting to say, I don't know, replace it with, I choose not to know. I choose not to know. Because that is a more honest answer, isn't it? Because when we take the time to really ask ourselves, we are God made manifest. We are one with the divine. We know. There's a place within me that knows. And there's a place within you that knows. I think this is why it's such a challenge to live by these 4 agreements. What's another one we like to say? Oh, I forgot. No, I didn't forget. Often we choose to forget because maybe we made an agreement, and instead of saying, that's not working for me, we said, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then we don't walk it out. We do know. There's a place within us that knows. And that is the place that we can't forget, however much we try. What's another one? Oh, I forgot that one. You or she. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that's actually funny. Okay. You made me do it. Reverend Leslie and I, we drove up together to this retreat that we had with the Vision Group, and we had a great talk on the way up there. We were just going back and forth. And you remember that one, right? Yeah, it's very popular in divorce situations. I so remember when I got divorced that I really could not remember what it was that I wanted. I could tell you what my ex-husband wanted from me and the kids wanted from me, but what did I want? And I heard myself say a couple times, he didn't let me live my life. No, it's a lie. We each have the responsibility and the freedom to live our own lives. We might not like the consequences, but at the very center of our being, we are responsible for our own life. Yes? Yeah, it's going to show up in the homework, I'm just saying. All right, well, let's see what's next since, I'm all alone. I'm the only one that is experiencing it. I'm all alone. Nobody understands me. There's a teacher in the Eastern philosophy, when somebody says, I am all alone, he says, did the trees in your area all die? Right? Because we are all one. There's only one life. When we say there's one life, and this life is God's life, and this life is my life now, that is not just for humans, that is for everything. And if we are in a time where we are having a challenging time to connect with another human or with people, there's always nature. How many of us have walked through nature and felt not alone anymore? Yes? Yeah. Great. And then there is, I don't have enough. That's the one that I had this week. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. That was the one that came up the most. It's a lie. It's a lie. Because we all are free to make the choices where we spend what we are given every day. And when we fall into the I don't have enough, then it gets us off the hook to do the work. It gets us off the hook to really ask ourselves, what's important for me? What do I want to take a stand for? What do I want to bring into the world? Taking ownership. And I believe the last one is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Lie. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. We have to start to take ownership of everything that we say, that we do. And there are moments where it's not pretty. We do something and it hurts another. How different to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, to say, oh, I really plowed into you there, didn't I? Phew, I wonder what's coming up in me that wants to be healed, that I reacted that way. And when we then say, I'm sorry, that's very different. When we acknowledge that there's something within me that was activated, can we talk about that? Are you willing to hear me? Very different. Very different. So those are some of the lies that I discovered. And I know lies is a harsh word. I do get that. Is there a better word for lies? Is there a better word to say that makes this a little bit easier? Or are you guys okay with lies? We're okay with using the word lies? Mistakes? Okay. Yeah. You know what I love about how we take a look at sin, because that's often, you know that sin is actually just all that it says, it's missing the mark. And that's what I think about mistake, you know. Tried, that went off the wrong way. False beliefs. That brings us back into science of mind. Yes, yes. All right, so let's take a breath. Feel into being impeccable with our word. Really feeling into, am I willing to apply authentic expression of what's going on for me in this relationship, in this situation in my life today? You know, it reminds me of Portia Nelson's 5 chapters, because I can feel, what chapter am I in? Did I just fall into the same hole and it's not my fault? I can't believe I'm here again, but it's not my fault? Or am I willing to say, wow, I fell into the same hole. It's a habit. I am awakened. It is my fault. I take responsibility. And I'm going to change my life. And that is what gets us out of any hole we are creating in our lives. So the invitations for this week, pretty clear, yes? Are you willing to take a look at the things that you say by habit, automatically, without thinking about it? And are you willing to say, oh, that didn't come out right? Could we work together on that? Could we figure that out together? Could you help me with this? Could you express your love for me so much that you're willing to be there while I unpack this? That is what the first agreement calls us into. I trust you join us on this journey as we're going through all 4 agreements and learn more about ourselves, more about how life works, and more of how we can be harmonious with one another. And so it is. Thank you. I do want to let you know we do have a couple more of the books in the bookstore. So if you have not gotten them yet, if you haven't bought it yet, go ahead and visit Lorenza in the bookstore. She does a great job with our bookstore. And we also have 5 of our journals available for sale. And then they're all gone. Okay. Let us come together in prayer. Please join me, allowing your eyes to close if that feels comfortable, as I request from our practitioners to please stand with me. And so we take a breath. And as we exhale into the depth of our beingness, we recognize that there is one power, one presence. It is only one. It is one love, it is one life, it is one goodness. Knowing it by so many names, I call it God. And as I recognize that this one life is having its being in, through, and as me, I know that that is the truth for every person. Every being has at the very center the divine. Love, harmony, joy, possibility, peace, beauty. And as we come together in this place in consciousness, we embrace the love and the light that is at the very center of our being, the I am. With all the compassion and kindness we can muster for ourselves and for one another, we embrace this desire of life to know more, to be more, to express more. How grateful I am for every person that is willing to make that step. Every person who placed the prayer request into our prayer ministry to know more, to be more, to love more, to understand more. I say yes. Let us hold up each other in love and light. Let us know that we are whole, perfect, and complete. So how grateful I am, how very, very grateful to know this truth for myself and for all beloveds. Place it into universal law and let it go, let it be. Together we anchor this truth as we say, and so it is.